everyone, it's Saturday. Time for another episode of Beyond Garnet. Let's get creative.
Maybe too intense for some listeners, may be unsuitable for sensitive people, may cause dizziness, may cause drowsiness, may cause excitability. Safety goggles may be required for listening. Take with food, avoid contact with skin, avoid extreme temperatures, and store in a cool, dry place. This is not legal advice, must be present to win. Contents under pressure may contain small parts. Listen at your own risk.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another episode of Beyond Garnet. Hang on to your hookahs, friends, because I've got a fantastic guest for you. Commando, Mad Max, Weird Science, Inner Space. Joining me today is the legendary Vernon Wells. So I was excited when I did a little research on you because you're a fellow Capricorn.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Are you as stubborn as I am?
Probably. When were you born?
January 1st.
Oh, January 1st. Yeah, mine's the 30th. I was nearly a Christmas Eve baby.
Oh.
I mean, a New Year's Eve baby.
Yeah, I was the New Year's Eve baby in my little town that I was born in, yeah.
I was born in a little country town in Australia.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love your accent, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, a little country town called Rushworth, which is a tiny little place. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, dear Lord. I'm in California.
Yeah, what part of California are you in?
I live in Pacific Palisades on the coast.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I've been out there quite a few times. I love it out there.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I'm kind of on the side of a mountain looking down over the ocean.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm quite happy about it, actually. It's quite nice.
Very good. Very good. So I have some really fun questions, probably nothing you haven't been asked before in multiple interviews. Maybe one or two weird ones, but we'll get to those later.
Oh, good.
Everybody knows you from Mad Max. Everybody loves the picture of you with the crazy face and the mohawk, and which is probably my first introduction to you as an actor. But you actually started out in commercials. Is this correct?
Yeah. I started out in a band.
In a band?
In a band, yes. I was the lead vocalist in a band in Australia. Well, in quite a few, actually. And that's where it all started. I followed in my mother's footsteps. She was a songwriter. And
oh, that's fun.
I was quite content with it. I thought, well, drugs, sex, rock and roll, what more could I ask for? It was kind of my dreams, all my dreams had come true, so I was a happy dude. But I was involved in a quite serious car accident with the band, like not the band, but I was in the band truck with all our equipment, and I got hurt. My back, I had 2 compressed fractures in my back. Wow. And I couldn't walk and stand and things for quite a while, so I couldn't work with the band. And as I was getting better, our manager, Bobby, got sick of me being a pain in his rectorial area and said, I'm going to take your photo around. Somebody's going to have to take you off my hands. And he kind of went to all the agencies, and one of them was casting for a cigarette commercial. And they said, oh, he looks pretty good. Send him in. So I went in and I got it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I didn't have to share the money with, 4 or 5 other guys in the band. So I thought, oh, this is the way to go. I like this. Unfortunately, I got bored not that soon after. It was like, oh, God, this is so boring. What am I doing? And then the same agency said, look, we've got these TV shows, like you'll only be an extra, but they're looking for people, and it would probably be something you'd enjoy. So I started doing that. And from that is where directors started sort of saying, hey, the big ugly guy at the back, come up here and do this. And that was where it all started. Not very glorious, but the way it was. Not that I ever really had any interest in pursuing acting. It was never my driving force. I didn't sort of wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to be an actor.
Right.
I would wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be going off to Bendigo or some other place and playing with the band this weekend. So that was kind of where my focus was. But a gentleman by the name of George Miller changed all that. So, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. So would you say, this is one of the questions I typically ask people, is if they had a defining moment when they knew they wanted to be an actor. So I guess it was that the accident leading over into the commercials and you going, hey, yeah, this is really cool. So would you call that your moment?
I don't think I'd call that my defining moment. It was more of I was getting paid to do nothing sort of moment,
Yeah.
Oh, look, they're paying me all this money and I'm just sitting on a set and smoking cigarettes or being in all these wonderful locations. Oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. It was that kind of moment. But I think my defining moment as an actor was the thing that launched my acting career, which was a stage play called Hosanna, which for the longest time I really didn't want to do because it was a two-hander, and if you know what that means, there's only two people in the play. And it was like a 120-page script for the play, and it was written by Michel Tremblay, who's French-Canadian, and it was about Montreal wanting to secede from Canada to become a French-speaking, like, part of France in the middle of Canada, and Canada sort of went, no. So he wrote this play about it, and it was a transvestite and her boyfriend, and they represented the government and the people of Montreal in their two kind of portrayals. And that terrified me, having not really done anything that you would classify as acting. I'd done little things, and one line here, or half a line there, but that was it. I never really pursued it or thought that was my career. But I think that the deciding moment of everything was opening night of that stage play.
Wow.
I went on stage against all my better judgment and totally scared to death. I was shaking so bad that the stage manager had to ask me not to lean against the set because I was making the set vibrate.
Wow.
I was so scared. After the play finished, just walking down to where my mother and my auntie and my brother and my sister were waiting in the bar and sort of looking at my mother's face. That was my defining moment.
Oh, I love that.
The look on her face of how proud she was. It was like, yeah. And of course, then she said about destroying my whole thing of myself and cutting me into little pieces so I wouldn't get a big head. But it was kind of that. I think that out of everything was the moment that, if you wanted a defining moment, that was probably it. Just seeing how happy and proud she was of her son having done what he did. And that's what made me think, this is probably good.
What a great moment. Do you remember, and I know you do, but I'm going to ask, do you remember how you felt at that moment? Do you always remember that?
Oh, yeah. I was like a little 10-year-old walking up to his mother to get her to tell me that it was good or bad, hoping that she would say it was good. And, my mother, because to set the scene, the opening scene, I come onto the set and I stripped naked.
Wow, okay.
In front of the audience. And the audience, the first row of the audience is like 4 feet from the edge of the stage.
Sure.
So people are like very close to what my other parts of my body are doing. And when I went downstairs, I was talking to my mother and I said, what'd you think? She said, you were wonderful. It was just amazing to watch you. I said, because I was sort of very scared. There was a few things in the play that I know my mother is against. And so I was very reticent to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And I said, so then I was like, wow, that's really cool. And she just looked at me and she had her hands on my shoulders and she was looking into my face. And her eyes went down my body to my groin and she went, and you have grown, haven't you, sweetie? And that was the end of it. It was like, I am never acting again ever in my life.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, just build me up and then Yeah, that I remember that moment very, very well.
Oh, yeah, I bet. So what were you like as a kid?
A total pain in the rear.
Yeah?
I was totally, you just couldn't control me, even if you tied me down. I broke my arm twice. I managed to drive, because I grew up on a farm, I managed to drive the tractor, the farm tractor, into the creek, because we had a creek that went around one side of the property. I managed to drive it into that. I thought that I would see if the chainsaw really worked and cut down a grove of trees that my grandfather had planted. Yeah, just small things. I was a little rebel.
Yeah.
Totally. All my life I was a little rebel. My mother said to me one day when I was about 17, 18, I came home one night, Sunday night I think, and she looked at me and she went, "Amazing." I said, "What?" She said, "I didn't know you drank till you came home sober." That was just what I was like. I went out on the weekend and I was flat out for the whole weekend. I was an Australian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was kind of a wild boy.
Sure.
But, things, everything sort of goes in a circle and all those kind of things. They're all growing up experiences, and each one of them compounds upon itself until eventually you really do have this amazing amount of material in your own mind to draw from when you're playing different characters. And I think that was probably the most beautiful part of it, that if I'm doing something, I could always look back on who I was as a kid or as a young adult, and who my friends were and the things that we did. I think that's just something that a lot of people don't have, which I'm fortunate enough to have.
Yeah, your mental toolbox.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any new projects going on right now that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I'm actually, I believe, attached to 5 projects at
Wow,
the moment.
that's great.
Which, if the pandemic ever ends, I'll be able to do. I'm doing one which I'm looking forward to immensely, which is called Island in the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a retelling of Treasure Island.
Oh,
In
fun.
space.
That's cool.
With, and I'll be playing one of the roles that I've always wanted to play, and that's of Long John Silver. I'll be playing the Long John Silver role.
Oh, that's fun.
Pirate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that'll be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'll be doing a good friend of mine whom I work with quite regularly in Australia. Travis is doing a project. Virtually, I'll be playing a grumpy old man out in the forest who doesn't want to know anybody, doesn't want to get involved with anybody, and there's this whole group of basically outlaw-y type people that are doing very bad things.
Ah.
They never come near me because it's kind of, if you come near me, you could end up dead. So they never bother me, and then these 4 kids by accident stumble on them and then end up in my cabin trying to escape from them so they won't be killed, and then I have to decide whether I'm just going to let these kids die for no good reason, or I'm actually going to fight for them and do what I swore I'd never do, and that's get involved. And so that's the film. That one's kind of fun. That'll be done over in Australia, in Queensland. And back here, I'm doing a project called Death at Sunrise, which is a Western.
Oh, fun. I love Westerns.
Yeah, we did. You can find it actually if you go on to the internet, I believe, on YouTube, Death at Sunrise. You'll see the 25-minute teaser for it.
Oh, I'll look that up.
Which is a proof of concept. And another short, a 20-minute short called Southern Hard, which is about a Southern colonel who runs into Northern troops and gets shot up and manages to escape to this cave that he remembers from his youth. And he passes out because he's been shot in the stomach. And when he comes to in the morning, he realizes somebody else is in the cave. And it turns out to be the slave girl that he grew up with.
Oh.
That was his plaything, his toy, the person he treated like crap. military woman, and he can't get past being a slave owner, so he treats her like she's still his slave. And so you have this battle of wits between the two of them. One of them's dying, and the other one is escaping to freedom. So it's kind of really, really intense, and that one I love. It's coming up. What else we got? We got lots of projects that I'm involved with in one way or another.
Sure.
One of them's based, will be shot in Georgia, I believe, which is based on a murder that happened up there in 1948, 1950. Two African-American young guys, about 23, 24, got out of jail. They were in on just, like small charges, like 30 days sort of thing. And they came out of jail and they both got a little drunk and decided it was New Year's Eve, decided they were going to break into this house. They broke into the house and there was a family there, a husband, wife, and 16-year-old daughter, and they butchered the three of them.
Wow.
And it's about that, and then it's about the police who had to put it together and had to find out who did it and get all the evidence. And it's quite an interesting piece.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but that'll be going ahead once the pandemic finishes.
Sure. I love films that are based on, like, true events.
Yeah, because
I do.
they're a lot more fun to do. And I've got some projects coming out. I mean, Kill Giggles comes out in about a month. A film that I won a Best Actor Award for at one of the shows is coming out. I think it's already now released on platforms over here, called Landfall, which was shot in Australia, which is a really cool movie.
Yeah.
Trouble Is My Business, which I love.
That's a great title.
Yeah, it's a really cool movie. It's a film noir.
Oh.
The best way to watch it is black
One of
and
my
white,
other
so
favorite
that's
things
cool
right
stuff.
there. Westerns and film noir. I love both of those.
Yeah. Well, I'd have a look at Trouble Is My Business. It's a really, really good film. Really, really good film. And in black and white, it's stunning.
Yeah.
And there's other odds and sods, as they say, coming
Sure.
up. There's a TV series they're interested in me for, which I can't talk about, but we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. I keep getting a lot of work given to me from my partner. We own a studio complex in Sacramento called Eden Studios. So he's got projects going all the time, and he keeps on getting
Well,
some enough to put me in it. I'm not sure why. But
He likes you for some reason, right?
I don't know, there's something there. Yeah, he worries me. But yeah, so, Brian's a really, really great guy. Things are happening, put it that way. I just, right at the moment, it's torturous.
Yes.
But the funny thing is, next week I have to do a couple of scenes out of a film that they're shooting. The director will be on Zoom, and you'll be shooting yourself, like filming yourself, and he'll be directing and telling you how he wants it, and do it again, do it this way, do it that way. So it could be kind of fun too. I haven't done anything like that yet, so that could be a bit of
It's a
fun.
new experience, so yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
As to whether I enjoy it or not, we are yet to find out.
Yeah. Now, are you a collector of anything?
Probably a collector of wolves. We're involved with a rescue kit called Apex Protection, which is on the internet. If you go on the internet, you'll bring it up, Apex Protection, wolf dog rescue. That's a friend of mine's house property that we have 8 out there. We're involved in another group who have about 46, I think.
Wow.
But mostly because my guardian spirits are wolves and dolphins,
Very cool.
according to the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff on wolves around my house and dolphins, because we are fortunate enough, by the grace of God, to be able to look out our window and see dolphins in the bay,
I'm very jealous.
which is like, often it's like, oh, look, the dolphin's back. Oh, it's going to be a good day.
That's
But
nice.
apart from that, I used to collect bits and pieces from all the movies I did, but you know what? Eventually, it gets to be ridiculous because you get so much stuff
Sure.
all over your house that's that's really doing nothing except collecting dust. And you're like, oh, that wasn't. But now mostly what they do is people know I won't take anything, so they usually, if I've got an outfit or something I really like, I usually end up getting that, like a suit or a jacket or something that I really like wearing. They'll just let me keep it.
Now, did you get to keep any of your wardrobe from Mad Max?
I have the whole costume.
Oh, you do? That's awesome. So do you like playing the villain?
You know what? It's funny because this is a question, like you said, that I get asked.
Sure.
I don't look at it as playing the villain. I look at it the way a very famous actor once said is that the difference between villains and heroes is that the villain always thinks he's the hero and that the hero is the villain to the villain.
Yes.
And vice versa. So I always try to play my villains as people who are not being villainous, they're doing what they perceive they need to do, and the person who's trying to stop them, for them, is the villain. So and I love it because villains don't have boundaries. If you're a villain in a film, you can do basically anything. The villain gets away with murder, so to speak. Whereas if you're the hero of the piece, you have boundaries. You can't do certain things. The hero wouldn't do that, or no, the hero wouldn't do that. So you have to be very aware of that. Whereas as a villain, you don't. Who cares? I think Grandma's butt. Nobody cares. That's not what we'll hear. So it can be a lot of fun playing the villain, and one of the reasons I like it is because it's not who you are. Well, you would hope it's not who you are.
Sure.
But it's a persona that you adapt. Whereas if it's the hero, it's very much who you are. So a lot of you goes into that performance, and a lot of actors don't like doing that.
Yeah. I love this. I hope a lot of actors listen to this episode of the podcast, because I think that's an interesting way to look at the hero and the villain, and I think that's something that a lot of actors could appreciate. A different perspective of looking at the villain. Yeah.
And I play both now. You probably looked at my resume. I play villains, I play good guys.
Yeah.
But I play them both with that same attitude, because if you don't, you take away part of what that character is, and to me that's cheating. You've got to go out there and make the character as round and whole as you can make them, because that's what the whole thing's about. I once said to a director who kept saying to me, well, can you do it more like Mad Max? And so one day I said to him, what would be easier than you telling me all the time I should do it more like Mad Max? And he said, what? I said, I could get a 6-foot blow-up of me as Mad Max, and you could tow that around the set, and you wouldn't have to worry about me.
He didn't like that, did he?
Nope. He thought I was an arrogant, but so that was the point. I don't want to go and do that again. I want to be able to adapt the character how I see it as an actor and how it fits into what the director wants, what the writers have written. Not scoop up, oh, look, let's make Mad Max rewrite. I did it once. I did it as The Weird Science, and that was basically because it was a comedy, and I wanted to work with John Hughes. So, but you don't want to keep dredging up what you've done. What you want to do is be able to move on and make each character different. I have so many people will talk to me and go, you know what, until I actually saw your name, I didn't know it was you in Road Warrior and Commando and Weird Science. Yeah. It's like, that's what I do. And they're like, but you do it all so differently, that you're not that character that you can see. You don't just look at the character and go, oh yeah, it's Vernon Wells again. And I think that to me is more of what I love to hear than people coming up and saying, oh, you're such a great actor. Well, okay, thank you, that's really cool. But if you tell me that you didn't know I was doing the character, that means more to me, because it means that I was able to do that character to a degree that you didn't know who it was. You were more interested in the character.
Yes.
And that's what I think we all strive for.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. Now, who is someone that you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to work with in the future?
You know, I have been incredibly fortunate. I've worked with a lot of wonderful people, both sides of the camera.
Yeah.
I could never say that I haven't worked with people I want to what I do. And there's a couple of people I'll be working with in different projects that are coming up that I've really wanted to work with. But I don't know, in that score of, you know, the people that I really wanted to work with aren't around anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because there was a certain thing that they had that I just wanted to be on the set and watch them. I'm a great voyeur, you know, which I think most actors are. We're peeping toms, you know. We like to watch society and humanity as a whole and see how people interact. And there were some wonderful, wonderful actors from bygone years that, you know, that you could watch and go, wow, how the hell did they do that? Because they didn't have the techniques we have now. They didn't have all the computer graphics and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They actually had to do it.
Yeah, I watch Burt Lancaster and I want to cry that he's no longer around, you know.
Yes, yes. Love Burt Lancaster. And that's what I'm saying, those people, you know. And all the people that, you know, you go back, Humphrey Bogart, all those people, but back into the 50s and early 60s when they made all those films, but they used basically the same cast in every film.
Yeah.
You'd have the same 5 or 6 people that would, you know, Peter Lorre and people like that would all turn up. But it was amazing to watch how they did it and how they worked. You know, you could just sit and watch them and go, wow. If I ever get like that, I'll be really happy, because there was a thing about them that we tend to lose sight of now because we're so used to having, oh, well, don't worry about it, we'll fix it in post.
I don't like that phrase. That phrase.
Yeah, I hate it.
No, if you say that, I'm going to throw something at you.
Yep, it's like, seriously. But back in the 50s and, you know, 60s, you didn't have that choice. You had to be able to deliver. When you were on that camera, you had to be able to do your job.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And I've done a lot of films and I've worked with a lot of wonderful people that have that same attitude, you know. But we're still, you know, a lot of the current directors have a tendency to rely more on the fact that if they can't get it, they'll just do it in post, which I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have a list. You probably have a long list if you were actually to sit and think about it. Yeah.
It's like the reason that I'm so happy about doing Island in the start with the director of that is that he was the director and writer and star of Trouble With My Business, Not Conquest. And on the set one day he said to me, what are 3 films in your bucket list that you want to do before you trundle off this earth? And I said, yeah, I know, and I'd like to play Long John Silver in Treasure Island, and I'd love to play the captain in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the captain of the submarine, and I would like to do a real version of a vampire movie instead of doing it with 12-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
And he was like, oh, and that was basically it. You know, he just wandered off and said, okay. And I was like, okay. And about 3 months after we finished the film, he rang me up one day and he said, I've got something I want you to look at. Can I email it over to you? I said, sure. And he emailed me this whole package for Island in the Stars, and I just went, oh my God. And I rang him up and I said, this is Treasure Island. And he said, yeah, well, you said you wanted to do it. And I was like, good God. So I'm really, really excited for that one because it is on my bucket list.
Sure.
To do that character. So, yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I'm having so much fun. It's ridiculous. I've got a couple of little things coming out. I believe the end of this month there'll be a short coming out called Fear of the Woods, which is a proof of concept for a major film called Fear of the Woods. But they liked it so much that they're releasing it as a short. The 15 minutes that I did for them, you know, for the concept. And then in Australia, there's the same thing. There's a film being done, a horror film, which is sci-fi horror, which is about the Min Min lights in Australia, about aliens and things. And we shot a 20-minute trailer for that, like 3 years ago. But the guy didn't have the money to finish it. But now they've just finished all the effects and everything because of the pandemic. They've had plenty of time to do stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll be finished with all the mixing and everything by the end of July, I believe, and it'll come out. So I've got a couple of those coming out, and then there's like, I believe, 7 films that are coming out between now and the end of the year. So it's like people aren't going to get rid of me quite that easy.
You've been busy.
Oh, yeah, I stay busy. Someone
good.
said to me, you're probably the second busiest bloody actor in America with all the projects that you get tied up with. And it's like, yeah, well, I like working. I like doing it. It's my thing. I always made a deal with myself that the first time I wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock and go, crap, do I have to get out of bed and get a location? I'm out of here. I'm finished. It's over.
Yeah.
While I can get out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and go, oh, yes. You know, I can't wait to get to the set, you know, and start.
Yeah.
That thing that I'm going to keep doing.
That's what gets me out of bed every day, is all the creative stuff that I do.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I've noticed you've got a whole heck of a lot of crap going on there, young lady.
I'm trying. I like being busy like you. I'm busy.
Yeah, it's the only way to be.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is you've got to enjoy what you do and do it to the best of your ability. And not, I always get upset with the 20-something-year-olds who've never really done anything, and they suddenly become a movie star. Someone sees them or they've done some stuff on Disney, and suddenly they're being paid, $3 or $4 million, and they become the born-again devil on the set, It's like, my God, you should be bending down and kissing the guy who hired you's feet.
Yeah.
For giving you the chance to get into this business. So, sometimes it's just, you think, this is a career. This is like any other career. If you were a doctor, a dentist, or a carpenter, or anything, bloody gardener for crying out loud, this career is the same thing. You put 100% in to get 100% out.
Yes.
That's simple.
Yes.
And you don't screw with it. You just do your job. God, go to the set, do your job, and go home.
So my next question was going to be, what is your advice to anyone who wants to get in the entertainment business or be an actor?
Buy a ticket and sit and watch it.
Don't do it?
It's one of those questions people ask you and say, what about you?
Sure.
You never wanted to be an actor. Now look at you. 280 odd movies later. It's like, but there's certain things you've got to understand. If you want to become an actor, it has to be not because you want to be able to stand in front of people having a photograph taken and going, oh, look at me, I'm special.
Yes.
That could be the last thing on your mind. If you want to be an actor, it's a career choice. You need to learn what it means to be an actor. You need to learn how to be an actor. I teach classes with kids, and I always say to them, I cannot teach you to act. It's impossible. Everybody's born an actor. As a little child, that's how you get everything you want from your parent. Mm-hmm. You throw a tantrum, you plead, you go and get peeved and pissy in the corner. All these things are acting, because the minute you get what you want, your face lights up and you're as happy as a clam.
Right. It's
all an act, and you learn to do it. But some of us forget it, or we get it beaten out of us through bullying or through the fact that our parents say to us, grow up, stop being a little twit, stop doing all that dumb stuff. So you forget it. Whereas some of us don't. Some of us go on and continue to be the little twit and get into the career we want. But you really, really, really need to find out what it is. And as I said, when I'm teaching, I always say to the kids, acting's really quite easy. It's a square box. And the director will give you all the furniture to go in that box. And then your job as an actor is to put the furniture in the box. Now, the director may say, I don't like the door there, or I don't like the window there, or can we move the furniture here? And you do that. And now it's rearranged, and that is the way the director wants it. That's what acting is.
Oh, what a fantastic way to look at it. I love that.
Yeah, and that's people try to make it also. But that's really, in simplicity, what it's about is that you get a square box and you get the furniture to put in it from the director. And then the director will tell you where he wants things if you haven't done it the way he wants it. And that's it. Not that hard. What's hard is being professional.
Oh, that's
doing
true.
the thing and learning, making sure that you have everything right and that you go onto that set and that you're nice to everybody. You know, what I hate is people coming onto a set and they're, don't look at me, don't do this, don't do the other thing. It's like, dear God, you serious? You know, you should be thanking God that you got a job.
Yeah.
Why would you want to act like that? And, you know, be nice. My grandfather always taught me that on the way up, be very nice to the people, because on the way down, they're going to be the ones that are kicking your ass.
That's true. That is very true.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, it takes as much effort to be an ass as it does to be nice.
Yes.
It's that simple, you know, and I have a great regret for being nice, and I'm proud of it, because I feel that being on the set, I'm there to help people, not be a hindrance. You know, if somebody's got a problem, I'm more than willing to help them get over that problem so that what we're doing works, you know. I don't care if I have to drop down a little bit in my performance. That's not going to worry me in the least. I want to make them look good as well as me, because if they don't look good, but I do, I look like a schmuck. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand, is you can't be the schmuck who looks wonderful and everybody else around you doesn't, because they all deserve the same opportunity and the same thing to be able to look good. And, you know, it's your thing to help them, make them. That's me.
Well, and the better
Well,
everyone performs together, the better the project is.
Yes, you know, there's no me in actor.
Yeah.
You know, it's a group. It's always a group. It's a group sport. It always has
Yes.
been. That's why I love, we were talking about the 40s, 50s, 60s films.
Yeah.
And the group, that's why I love them, because it was always a group effort. There was never one person, you know, yeah, you had your star, of course you did. That's the way movies are made. But if you watch those movies, the whole ensemble is on equal footing.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes those films so good.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's what makes them
them-
so memorable as well. You remember everybody in the cast, not just the star.
Yes. And so, but we've forgotten that. Now we've got to have, you know, one of us is a star, and one of us is a, you know, the lead. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the same as I hate being called Mister. You know, I figure I haven't earned the right yet. And I just like to be called Vernon. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was on Kill Giggles, and the director would call me Sir all the time. And I said, if you keep doing this, I'm going to charge you $5 every time you call me Sir for charity. I ended up with like $150 by the time we finished filming me. I was like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I just like to be called Vernon. You know, I don't want to be put in a position of being better than someone else.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not. You know, I'm not better than anybody. You know, I'm just a fortunate, lucky human being who has been able to do what I do. And, you know, for that reason, I'm extremely happy.
Yeah.
But not to be an ass. It's just, yeah.
And that's a good thing.
However, if you catch me driving on the freeway in Los Angeles, you will see the other side of me.
Oh,
Well,
you
I'm
suffer
liable
from
to
road
get out.
rage, huh? Because I do too.
Oh, yeah, I'm just as liable to get out of the car and rip their arms off and beat them to death with it. I'm just like, I am the worst. But that's where you see the real Vernon come out. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the Capricorn side of me.
Yes, I would agree with you. I'm a road rager. I don't like traffic at all. So.
Yeah. People are just so annoying. It's like, God, it's that thing called a cell phone, put it down.
Yes.
They're always on it. And it's like every modern vehicle you can buy has a phone system in the car. You do not need to even touch your cell phone.
Yeah.
But people still have it to their ear.
Yeah.
Like, you're driving a new BMW, what, you didn't buy one that had the...
The Bluetooth, yeah.
It's just ridiculous. So, of course, that's my little pet peeve. If you were going to ask me what's my biggest pet peeve, you just got it.
Okay.
Is that. It's like,
Well, I wasn't going to ask that, but I will ask my one question that everybody says it's so random. What is your favorite type of cake?
My favorite type of cake is, what do they call it? It's the chocolate and raspberry filling. It is, and I love it. And my other favorite thing is lemon meringue pie.
Ah, that was my dad's favorite, lemon meringue pie.
Oh, I love lemon meringue pie. Yeah, I love that. That's kind of, and I like eclairs too, by the way.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. Chocolate eclairs, the chocolate eclairs. Yeah.
Pastries and cakes and pies, that's my biggest downfall because I love the sweet stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like Australian pies and pasties and sausage rolls and things which you can get from up near you. Actually, there's an Australian bakery.
Oh, really?
I order them. Yeah, I order them and get them sent down, and they have different Australian confectionery. Like you can get all kinds of different things that I used to be able to get back in Australia. Which every so often I'll go berserk, and a box will arrive with like $100 worth of lollies.
Yeah.
Like, yes, oh, damn. These for Yorks, like, you can't eat them.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop me? Yeah, that's kind of my downfall too. I'm really bad on that stuff.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, really should never, but I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you can't deprive yourself. You have to every once in a while. I've gotten better at controlling it when I was younger. When you went through that phase where you could eat whatever you wanted and you never gained weight.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's long gone. So I have to be careful now.
I look at that and I go, do I still remember that? Let me see. God, that's so long ago when I could actually do that. Yeah. When no matter what you ate, it didn't do anything. Now, if you even walk past a confectionery shop or a bakery, you put on 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn it. All I did was sniff.
Yes.
But it's a whole different thing. Yes, I know. Oh.
So if everybody wanted to find you on social media, where would you want them to follow you?
They can follow me on Facebook, or if they want to become one of my Facebook people, they have to actually go to my fan page. I have a thing on my Facebook now. I'm always at 5,000 followers. Yeah. So I've got a fan page which it's listed on my Facebook when you first open it. Okay. But it's Vernon, it's V.G. Wells or George Wells. They're both. One of them is my fan page, and the other one is my. And I'm on Instagram and all the other silly little things you're supposed to be on. As an actor, you're probably aware you don't have a choice. Yeah. It's a necessary evil. You want to be on this, and the other thing, and I go, I don't even know how to open it. How the heck can I go on it? But so I have a PR person does it. Well, not a PR. He's just basically someone who does all my internet stuff. Internet stuff. He takes stuff that comes out on me and he puts it up. The funny thing is that something that got this huge. I was just amazed at how many thousands of people came onto this site. And it was a picture of me out of Commando and Bennett, and then it had before the pandemic, after the pandemic, and the one beside it was this huge stack of pipes. And if you remember Commando, at the end of it, Arnold throws a pipe through me. That's great. It had this stack of pipes. Yeah. With me, and it was like, why me? What have I done to deserve this? But huge amounts of people thought it was hysterical and came on and started putting on these I love the fact that I get to do conventions, and not anymore I don't, but I did get to do conventions and talk to people and, be able to chat with the people who like what you do, because let's be serious. If you haven't got a strong fan base and people want to see things that you do, you ain't in the business for long.
That's true.
It's got to be that whole thing of people want to see what you're doing next and what's happening. So I'm very, very fortunate in that respect.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I am going to circle back and watch Trouble Is My Business, and I'm going to swing back and let you know what I think about that. And then I want to watch that, The Desert Sunrise.
There's a lot of stuff out there that I've done, which is Emerald Run just came out. City of Gold just came out. That one I had a lot of fun in, actually. I played a 16th century conquistador.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was just so much fun doing that. But that's why I love what I do, is that, you get to play all these characters. Just before I rang you, actually, I had the producer of a film that I'm doing, Once We Can Travel. And it's basically they want me to shave my head. They got to put a scar across my face so that I have a patch because my eye's been destroyed. I've actually played the devil.
Oh, that's
but
fun.
He's not called the devil. He's just this being.
Yeah.
Who is ethereal. He's just,
Yeah.
And it seems like that I love doing. It's like, oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Well, I enjoy your films.
Thank you. You know what? I enjoy them too.
I'm glad you do.
Some people say to me, "What is your most favorite film?" Of course, you always answer the same way, the ones I get paid for. But it's I don't have a favorite film in respect to I can say to you right now, oh, that is my most favorite film.
Right.
I have films that I really, really like what I did in. Really, really like. I did a little tiny film ages ago called True Love, which is basically about a girl whose parents are both female. She befriends a quarterback at the high school team, and he's gay, but nobody knows.
Ah.
And I play the coach, and I'm totally against anything, even the word.
Yeah.
And it's this whole thing of where I get brought into it eventually, and I have to accept that there are different people in the world to what my perception is. And it's such a nice little film. It's just called True Love. It was such a sweet little film. I liked that film.
Yeah.
For that reason. It was a nice, sweet little film and had a really strong message of tolerance. Which,
sure.
I like that. Road Warrior? Yeah, of course I like Road Warrior. It was the first film I made. So why wouldn't I?
Right.
Weird Science was fun. I got to work with a lot of people who became very big actors in that same film.
Yeah.
And work with a wonderful director, John Hughes, who unfortunately passed away. But I got to work with him. Inner Space, Steven Spielberg and Joe Dante. I've done 3 movies for Joe Dante. Everything has something that I've enjoyed and that I like.
Right.
So I can't really say I like one film more than another. I like what I do, and, I only ever watch myself once. I go, bleh, God, that was horrible. And then I won't watch it again. Because I'm my worst critic. I'll just sit there and go, oh, dear Lord, why did I do that? And then the person sitting beside you or the person just after is going, oh, man, that's so cool. Did you just see what he did? And I'm the one going, oh, God, why did I do that? And so, my perspective of what I do is totally out of whack with everybody else.
Oh, sure.
So I don't worry about it. It's like, whatever.
As long as everybody enjoys the work that you're doing, it doesn't matter what you think.
Nope. It's not for me. It's for them,
Yeah.
So what I think really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, Vernon, it's been a blast chatting with you. I thank you so much for your time.
We made it work, and sweetheart, it has been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much.
Truly a pleasure. And I believe you've got a son.
I do. He's 15.
He's 15. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a beautiful little dog, a little silky terrier or something.
Yes, he's a Yorkie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yorkie.
little
What do you-
Yorkie.
what do
He is
Yeah,
actually named after, from a John Hughes film, my first film crush, Jake Ryan from 16 Candles. So.
Good Lord. They are the spunkiest little dogs. A neighbor, she had to go into a care home.
Yes.
And she had a little silky. And we took it because we didn't want it to go to a
a
show
pound or
because
something.
They
Yeah.
put her down because she was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And she had a heart problem and, little things. But she was the spunkiest little animal I've ever had. And it took her about 12 months to get used to me. And then when she did, she would get up on the couch and attack me and fight with me and just headbutt me. She was such a little twerp. And she fought to the end, and eventually her kidneys failed.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
She went very quickly, but she fought all the way through. Basically,
Sure.
she was fighting until she went comatose, and they had to put her out.
Yeah.
But she just wouldn't. She just didn't want to go, and it was like didn't want to let her go. She was such a sweet little thing.
Oh, sure. I love animals. I love dogs. Dogs are my favorite.
Yep. Yeah, because they're, as I keep saying to them, this whole thing with the wolves is, where do you think man got most of his society from? Watching wolves.
That's
That was the
amazing,
first
isn't it?
animal that people connected with when they climbed down out of the trees were wolves. And, we forget that when we treat them the way we do.
Yeah.
All animals. We forget that they have the same feelings as us. They have fear. They have hurt. They have love. They have unconditional love. They're much better than we are. They don't worry about it if you do the wrong thing. They don't hold a grudge.
They're so much smarter and kinder than we ever will be.
Yep. And, we just don't get it. I just get so upset and uptight with all this stuff when I read about or see what people do with dogs and things. It's just like, I don't know how you can do it, because if you look into an animal's eyes, you see yourself looking back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're different to us. They're not just animals. They're beings that have feelings. All animals have feelings, regardless of whether they're dogs or cats or birds.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But dogs, because we're so close to them,
Yeah.
they have this whole thing, or we have this whole thing with them. They're like part of who you are, part of your family, and unfortunately, that's where I am. I can't get past that one. This is the way I am, and it's the way I'm going to stay. And if you don't like it, the door's that way. And guess what? It closes and slaps you in the ass when you leave.
Yes. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day.
I will, and the rest of the weekend, you too. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, please.
I will do it.
If the movies, you like them, or you want to talk about them, just drop me a line. I'm quite happy to talk to you.
Okay.
All right, my sweet.
All right, dear.
I'll let you go.
All
and
right.
please be safe and be well, and the same goes for your family. And we will talk later.
All right. Sounds good. Take care. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends and family. You can also follow me on Instagram at It's Me, Lana Reed. Also, stop by Apple Podcasts to subscribe, rate, and review. Many thanks to the musical genius of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech for our super slick theme song, Jet Fueled Vixen. Thank you to Michelle Lawson for our witty and fun disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by the guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the host, Beyond Garnet, or Garnet Films.